The finals is back with Season 2 and my god, they're really shaking things up with this one. But is it going to be enough to revive the player base? I certainly have my opinions, but let's start with all the new stuff because it's a long and pretty interesting list. Every class has a new weapon, at least one new gadget, Medium even has a new class ability. There's a new map, a new game mode, they're fixing ranked, you can make private matches, there's certainly a lot of stuff to be really excited about for the final Season 2. So let's get into it. This is the new map, Horizon. It's kind of like a hacked art gallery sort of. Like most things in the finals, it has a really strong aesthetic and is frankly shockingly beautiful. It definitely has a different feel to any of the other maps in the game, and as always, the interiors, exteriors, and verticality during fights are top tier in this map. I can certainly see this being a new fan favourite. We can't talk about the new map in Season 2 without talking about all the new weapons and gadgets you can use in it. Let's start with what we all want to see: portals. That's right, as the Light you can now release your inner Gladys and create portals using a 2-part grenade which anyone can then interact with. They go both ways, last for a limited time, and can go as far as you can throw. This is a great addition to the game, not just because portals are hella cool and a great opportunity to explore your in-game creativity, but also because this actually gives Light some utility, turning it into a class you might actually consider picking in the ranked game modes. While we're here, the Light also has a new pistol, the 93R, basically a Beretta. It's a burst fire pistol. Any Modern Warfare enjoyers will remember this fondly in the Akimbo setup. Nice. This seems to operate as a strong close to medium range weapon with good accuracy that might just scratch the itch for any Light player looking to put their MP5 or M11 away for a while. Onto medium, and we're looking at a new weapon, equipment, and class ability. The equipment first, the medium with the power of the data reshaper can turn objects on the map into other objects. You can use this to turn chairs into explosive canisters, for example, but you can also use it to turn deployed mines into chairs, making it a somewhat niche pick, but I can also see potential use for it given the right circumstances. I, for example, used it for gambling. What are these chairs going to become?
Red barrel.
Red barrel? Oh. But now for a much bigger change for medium. With the recon sensors removed from the game, Medium's replacement ability is the new Dematerializer. You can now turn walls into not walls, which you can actually leave unmade or put them back at your will. It's basically Fortnite. It's great to see Medium with some new destructive capability, although this is of course an ability, meaning you would have to give up Healing Beam in favour of this, which may be a choice few are willing to make. And of course we've got the new FAMAS, a burst fire assault rifle with no scope that definitely seems to work better as a medium range rifle. I can see its potential in skilled headshotting hands, which are clearly not my hands. But are you ready to give up the SCAR, the AK, or even the shotgun for this? While you ponder that, let's look at the Heavy. The anti-gravity grenade is the Heavy's new equipment, creating an anti-grav zone that lifts anything in the area up into the air. This certainly has use as a utility-based building traversal tool, but can also be used to deny cash-outs and restrict enemy player movement. Again, in taking this, you will be choosing to give up C4, RPG, or Dome Shield, which may prove to be a tough trade-off. The new heavy weapon is the KS-23, a 6-round pump-action shotgun that uses solid slug rounds. This is essentially the 870 with slugs from Bad Company 2, for any older Battlefield enjoyers in the chat. This thing can also destroy walls if you put about 4 shots into them. This gun certainly has potential, although again the Heavy has so many other powerful options, I think players may struggle to choose this weapon for anything other than casual play. Speaking of casual play, the finals have spiced things up in the proverbial bedroom with a new casual game mode. This is Power Shift, a 5v5 King of the Hill / push the cart game mode where teams have to stand on this platform as it carves a path through the map. Boom! The team who's pushed the point the furthest by the time the timer runs out wins. This is, without a doubt, the most brain AFK game mode in the finals, and maybe exactly what the casual audience is looking for. Action is permanently centered around the platform, respawn times are very low, you can even switch classes mid-game if whatever you're doing isn't working for you. There's obviously room for teamwork and coordination, but overall the mode really is perfect for turning off your brain and pumping that finals adrenaline straight into your veins. But maybe you're not looking to play the game casually. Maybe you're a hardcore ranked enjoyer who wasn't particularly happy with how the ranked ladder worked in Season 1. Fortunately for you, this season will have a focus on fixing that ranked ladder. And at launch, the ranked mode is said by the devs to now have smaller skill gaps and more evenly matched opponents, creating closer games. How true that is obviously remains to be seen. There was definitely talk within the more highly ranked members of the community for the introduction of solo queue to avoid losing ranked as a solo player to 3-man stacked Discord teams over and over again. But as of yet, this has not been discussed by the devs. Casual or ranked not doing it for you? For Season 2, the finals now has a private lobby system where any player can create a private lobby in Bank It or Cash Out and invite their friends to play. This is such a welcome addition to the game and will allow for private games with your friends, as well as opportunities for theory crafting that were previously reserved to griefing a live game. At the moment, it just has the 2 casual game modes, but the devs are looking to flesh out this private match feature over the course of Season 2. There were also a bunch of balance changes that during this early playtest event I didn't have time to explore in detail, and there were no patch notes provided. But the defib, for example, has a longer charge time. When you're revived by defib, you now visibly phase back into existence. I also believe Heavy's C4 has been reduced from 2 to 1. The meta may likely shift in ways I can't really see based on the limited time I had access to the Season 2 early build. And of course, there's changes to the progression system, as well as a huge number of new, pretty sexy skins. Look, I've got a TV for a head. But let's talk Season 2 opinions and the state of the finals. I've long been a supporter of the finals, having played the game ever since the first alpha, and I've always felt it had a strong, unique character that showed exactly how creative a modern shooter could be. Unfortunately, I have found that over development, the game has suffered from the exact same thing all other, even mildly competitive shooters suffer from, and that's the emergence of a meta. I've always found it frustrating in the finals that it has a bunch of really cool stuff in it, like riot shields, flamethrowers, goo grenades, but the reality is that using anything that isn't the absolute meta pick, especially in the ranked modes, will doom you to a life of suffering and endless losses. I think this is particularly true for the light class, a class that has some really cool tools but is pretty much entirely unviable in a competitive setting, as the heavy and medium builds are just so much stronger. Speaking to a high ranked player during this early access event who plays almost exclusively light, he said something I found quite fitting. When dying as a light to a heavy, it often doesn't feel like I died because the other guy was better than me. I died because I didn't pick heavy. And it's this exact point that makes the casual game modes seem pretty good, as people feel much freer when it comes to picking classes and builds, but the ranked game mode often feels very stale. But the reality is that your die-hard players and the people who extend the longevity of a game will likely be found in ranked. So the question is, has Season 2 fixed this? And if it hasn't, will it? I obviously can't speak to the Season 2 meta as the season's only just launched, but I can speak about the new equipment and weapons and can say fairly confidently that most of these additions will likely not see much play outside of casual. Again, things like the anti-gravity grenade or map dematerializer are really cool, but there are so many other stronger things that you can't give up in favour of this new stuff. Of course, the meta remains to be seen, and the finals is still a great time, especially in the casual modes. But I'd say going forwards, there needs to be a far closer attention paid to balance changes, specifically with the idea in mind of drastically shifting the meta regularly, to give more unused gadgets, abilities, and weapons some time in the finals sun. But of course, the finals is free, and if you're looking for a fun experience with some new stuff to kill some time, Season 2 is looking great, and has definitely made some very strong changes to the overall finals experience. I just hope it continues. Thanks for watching, all the best, and I hope to see you in the next one. The hell did he go? Where did he go? What? Ah! I got him.